Sundays in Silex are always the best.
Ay! From Thailand.
Shoutout ha. Pauwi na kayo ha.
Masarap daw yung lansones eh, kanyo.
Lansones! Baka lumaki yung lansones mo.
Lansones.
Isang daot daw.
Ingat po. Ingat. Nag-race ka? Sumali ka? Anong category? 14? Very nice. Tandex.
Kaya rin namin sa Lupaw mo niyo sa kahapon, sir. Ako ang nag-champion dito.
TV5. Bata pa ako, pinapanood na kita eh. Kayo ni Placido. So ito pala yun.
Kaya yung yung kinang champion ko na bisikleta, sir.
Ah, talaga?
Saka doon sa Biskaya, pangalawa lang ako. Yung isang Tindendex first naman.
Sunod, sama kami sa inyo.
Sige, sir.
Okay. Oy! Oy! These are our friends, man. Give me 5. Boys, let's have a quick briefing. Okay. Okay. So we got some guests here from. These are the Pro Continental Cycling team. Okay. Team MOA, no? Team MOA. Team MOA. Aris is here before he flies to Singapore. Aris, where are you? Raise your hand. Yeah. At tapos yung mga ginagawang excuse yung CRZ para may bisitahin sa Concepcion.
May jowa na agad.
Punta-punta ka pa sa Concepcion, ha? So, let's just make a summary. Today's goal is to help the girls at least set an average of 32. Part of that is dikit, ha? Dikit. So, nandyan yung mga legends natin.
The legend.
The legend. Okay. Ito mga ano. So, warm up. I'll just repeat ha. Warm up 1 lap. Warm up 1 lap. Double pace line. Nandito yung mga boys natin. Naka-t-shirt pa. Yan. O yan. Naka-t-shirt pa. We love going to Silex because one loop is a gigantic 18 kilometers long. No cars, no tricycles, all bikers. But during the warm-up, we happened to pass by broken pieces of glasses. So I'm gonna get some more. Figured, you know, the MacGyver generation had to make use of whatever was available just for us to make sure that the road was complete. So today's program will be a total of 86 kilometers. 38 kilometers of that will be a community ride where we focus on helping the women set their personal record, hopefully beating 32 kilometers per hour. And then the next half will be 48 kilometers long where the men's will start their playtime. Basically the junior developmental team, the guys who wanna get into the professional ranks. So once we get to the bubog, reset ng mga computer, okay? No, later pagdating sa bubog, okay? And then we're gonna try to push the pace ang U-turn natin sa bubog. Very cool. So the objective today, Carl, is you have to take charge ng peloton, ha? Take charge of the peloton. Target ng mga uncle. Hey, uncle.
Hi!
Ang target ng mga uncle, dumikit lang hanggang kaya. Okay? Pag kumalas na yung mga uncle, it's okay. Aris, you okay? Okay. Hey, Vince, if you get left behind, it's okay. Okay? Just maintain your own pace. Okay. Now let's talk about the finish line. Finish line lead out. Same, you decide which one you want to have your last lead out guy, etc. Okay? Clear? Okay, ngayon. Thor. Nasaan si Thor? Hindi ko makita. Ay, kala ko stoplight eh. Okay.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. Can you raise your hands? Sino yung mga seniors dito? Okay, seniors. Okay. Just make sure your health insurance are all updated. Okay, updated.
With premium.
With premium. Okay. So the boys over here will be in charge of the team time trial. We have to hang on to them, okay? Boys, ready? Okay? Okay. Ready? Okay. Community rides are a way to bring people together, especially those individuals who don't really have a club or a team or people that they can go out with, we organize these community platforms to keep the momentum going, especially after the pandemic when everyone started to go back to work. A lot of people we noticed stopped biking. So the objective of this rides is to have a place where people do not have to be anxious, do not have to be nervous. They don't have to worry about trying to show off or try to be, fast just for the sake of saying that they're cyclists. Because, as we all know, a lot of people tend to be very competitive and they really have a hard time trying to. Okay, Concepcion boy. So that's Vince. Vince is a 16-year-old kid. We have riders on rubber shoes. We have riders who are senior citizens. We have riders who just, well, started to get the bug of cycling. And these rides are very important because we cannot go to Cabanatuan yet. It's still what? 1 kilometer to go. So we're gonna make a U-turn here. We're gonna cross the island, okay? Slowly. Slowly. We're just gonna check if it's crossable. Shift your gear, shift your gear. Shift your gear. Just go over there a little bit. Okay, U-turn. Okay, we're gonna wait for everyone. Single pace line, huh? We have a lot of friends who do not have the opportunity to learn some of the basic riding etiquette, especially in big groups. This one helps you to learn fast by mimicking other people who are a little bit more experienced. So the lesson for today is how to stay on a single pace line, avoid overlapping other people, no unnecessary braking because sudden brakes cause accident on real roads, how to stay as much as possible on the same speed as everyone else. Aimee and Ian over here, they're a couple, husband and wives. Uh, Same busy professionals, but they take time to be here, to be with other people who want to focus on their health. Especially after the pandemic, a lot of people started to appreciate what health is all about. And we always believe that cycling is very good for most of us because it doesn't have the same impact on the knees as running does. But at the same time, there's no school of cycling. There are no platforms in cycling where people can go and learn simple basics of riding. Here, everyone, regardless of your age, regardless of your fitness level, as you can see, some of our legends, Jose Sumalde, who was a national team member during the 90s, is here. So even though you're past your golden years, you can still ride here. We have other teams, other clubs, different ages. These are the junior developmental team. As you can see just from their physique, they really, really look like pros. So they're the ones trying to make it on the professional cycling team. Never let it open, okay? There you go. That's it. Just focus on that. And we have guests like the others who, well, have seen the videos, have seen the rides. Renzo here, I remember he just started really basic, always playing basketball, and then he started to love cycling. Engineer Edwin beside him on his right, retired, recently retired, heart bypass survivor. Now he's gone into cycling to make this his sustainable health therapy. At the same time, you can also see the women in front taking charge of the pace. It just makes it a little bit healthy for everyone to be with other people where you don't really have to show off or always be guarded. Even women who are on rubber shoes, you're also welcome. So we make it a point, if this was 86 kilometers, we make it a point that everyone gets to warm up, everyone gets to be with the group, experience the speed, experience the pacing without the nervousness. Everyone gets the same instructions, even Tatay on Crocs. Keep it going. Very nice. Good job, ha? Good job, ano? Tikit lang, ha? Yan. Ganyan lang na pace, ha? Follow the dotted line, ha? Dotted line. Here we get to give him the chance to lead the whole group, even when he's on his basic shoes, basic classic bike. Whatever bike you have, you are welcome here. Doesn't matter what brand, doesn't matter what outfit you have, as long as your purpose is to learn and learn some more. So after the warm up, this is when we start ramping up the speed. So this will be 25 kilometers. We're trying to help out Idol. We're trying to help out Julie, Aimee, set their personal record. And their personal record is all about trying to beat 32 kilometers per hour for 32 kilometers. So now she's rolling at 39, 40 kilometers per hour, 18 kilometers down. So 7 kilometers to go to hit 25. And as the boys roll behind Julie, they start going up to speed. Julie, you have to shout when it's too fast, huh? You have to shout. So Julie just needs to make sure that she communicates the speed in front. If she's struggling, she has to tell so. She has to make sure that everyone knows if she's struggling because... There you go! These are our junior kids, obviously trying to make it to the pro ranks before they hit their 20s, and this is a good platform for them to learn, perhaps lead outs, time trials in a very safe environment. We have some of the junior guys from Nueva Ecija. And usually Saturdays and Sundays, this is packed with cyclists watching, hanging out, meeting new friends. It's just a very beautiful place to be into without the dangers of open traffic. Now the group started to splinter. As you can see in front, some of the junior guys were just a little bit too fast for Julie, so we let them go. But instead of surging and making her burn out, Z takes charge and makes sure that Julie gets to a very comfortable pace. Eventually, we were joined by Ali. Ali is one of the senior women in the CRZ women's group. She's starting to shift into triathlon, so today she's here to support Julie set her personal record. As soon as we hit 37 kilometers per hour on the 25th kilometer. Remember, the goal is 32 kilometers, so we're 7 kilometers away from the finish line. We get some of the juniors join us on the pace just for the fun of it, because after 7 kilometers we're gonna be starting the men's playtime. Keep on going, keep on going. All the way to the bridge, all the way to the bridge. Almost there, there's the finish line. There's the finish line on the... Keep on going, Julie. Finish line is the overpass. Stop the clock at the overpass, okay? Stop the clock at the overpass. Stop the clock. Julie, stop. Check your average speed. What's average speed?
33 coach kanina.
Check it.
Yung right side.
switch ng...
Average speed.
Wala. Tinurn off ko kasi.
At inom mo na?
Now we resume our program with the men's 48-kilometer playtime. The CRZ seniors, led by Engineer Edwin, leading out Z, Tommy, and everyone else. And this will be led by the junior developmental team from El Capitan, Batang Daileg. We also have the boys from Nueva Ecija. So now that the leash is off, they're now set to pace, race, and try to drop everyone. That's their primary goal, to test their fitness by working together. And working together strategy-wise, measuring your effort, reading the wind direction, including slope. So it may not seem like it, but SEALEX have some really, really difficult slopes that run for miles. Even though you can say 1%, 2% gradient may not be much, but if you start riding it at 40 to 45 kilometers per hour, it can be quite challenging. So the target now is that we let the junior developmental team be in front. As soon as they started ramping up the speed, immediately the whole field started to thin out. When you are in a single pace line, it just means that the speed is beyond our comfort level. And the only way we can survive this is that the CRZ guys, who are in white, we just have to stay together as long as possible, not break apart, and stay with the juniors. The lucky, or you can say the advantage of the kids, is that because they have so much power and youth being on their side, they can afford to really have this really high RPM. I mean, we're very envious about it, but unfortunately, sometimes age catches up. And for the seniors at the back, we can only do a certain number of cadence. It's just so that our heart rate don't blow up. So for us, we try to depend on muscle torque instead of RPM. But both styles work. If you're comfortable with high RPM, just like Carl, just like these guys, please do so. And as you can see, even at high RPM, we are on the same speed. The guys in front, they share the load, trying to break the wind. This is called drafting. Remember, the guy in front is doing 100% effort. The guy on the third to fourth wheel can save as much as 30 to 40%. But their objective now is try to go as fast as possible to slowly weed out the pretenders, and that would be us. But we're not ashamed to say that we are pretenders, because we're way past our golden years, and sometimes you just have to accept that when you're done with your golden years. Well, you just have to accept that. But still, we have this opportunity to play with junior guys, kids half our age or more than half our age, but just watching them pedal, it's a sight to behold. Super smooth, super fast. They embody the physiology of health. I had to really, really lower my cadence just to keep my heart rate from blowing up. And this would be the challenge when you don't have enough mileage. Because sometimes, well, because of choices in life, you gotta work, you have a family to take care of, you have a 5 to 9 job. Most of us, we just have to accept, don't have the opportunity to really stay longer, log in more mileage, so we just have to well, focus some alternative programs. But as you can see, the juniors here from Batang Daileg, these boys are super fast. Super fast. It may not seem like it, but they were hovering at 40, 45 kilometers per hour. It really hurt. But part of the CRZ biomechanics program, which we always try to stress out with the newbies, is the more that it hurts, the more that you focus on your posture. And the speed well, as you can see, we were just passed by another junior. That's how fast they are. The only thing that's well, we're trying to gamble on is that since this is 48 kilometers long, we're hoping that our low RPM, low heart rate will allow us to survive the whole ride. We cannot afford to have spikes in power, just like so. If you notice, when we establish a gap or the guys in front of us gap us, we cannot sprint in front of them. We can only overtake them slowly and slowly accelerate because we have to make sure that our teammates at the back do not get gapped. And that's the value of having a solid team, is to just slowly accelerate. And the moment that I find myself in front, since power is not really on our side. I remember when I did an FTP test, my FTP was 180, 190 watts. So I have to depend on aerodynamics. Basically, the idea is you have to go as low as possible, create the smallest amount of frontal surface area, and be able to slice through the wind. So, without putting so much power, you can have the same speed as everyone else. And again, the way we design the bikes, the way we bike fit the boys, is to be able to have this posture at a sustainable, comfortable uh, process, or else it's gonna hurt at these speeds. And you can see the difference in style. For the kids to develop torque, they really have to sometimes twist around to put some force on the pedals when they try to use a heavier gear. But man, kudos to them. They have the ability to go at a higher RPM. If you can be comfortable at a higher RPM, well, uh, consider us jealous. But for today, trying to keep up with these boys was well, requires a lot of concentration. So if you'll notice, there's less talking at the back. It's just really body language. So when the value of training together as a team is, you don't have to really do so much shouting because the guys behind would know your body language. And body language reading is very important in high speed riding because it can also be your ticket to safety. So just like Z, Z is the one behind me. Behind Z in the blue bike is Aris. Because he's not our teammate, the guy in green, he just accelerates. And you see how we had to close down that gap by not accelerating, or else everyone's heart rate will spike. And again, because being seniors, we don't have the ability to have a high heart rate and recover and high heart rate. We just have to be like a jumbo jet, just keeping it together. So finally, we survived the whole route, even half. 18 kilometers to go. We find ourselves in front. Apparently, the boys, the juniors, could not sustain the super high speed, so we found ourselves being in front because they had just had to rest at the back. But since we were targeting a 38 kilometer per hour average speed, we had to work together. So Z will be in front, slicing through the wind. You can see the way he's holding the bars, going to the hoods, going to the drops, but the objective is the same. Try to be as low as possible, create a smaller frontal area, and keep the distance between riders as small as possible. So you can see here, Aris is focusing as much as possible. Behind Aris on the blue bike will be Nikki. Behind Nikki will be Tom, and behind Tom is me. And the rest of the junior developmental team are behind at the moment because smart boys, they know it's 18 kilometers to go, so they had to rest. I guess they were trying to save some energy for the final 9 kilometer stretch. As soon as Z finishes his pull, and there's no time limit, there's no 20-second per person. No, it really depends on your fitness level. You would know before you blow up, you swing on the side. So same with Aris over here. He just manages his effort just below the red line. Just below the red line, because the moment that he exceeds the red line, he blows up. So nobody shouts at him, nobody gives him the speed. He has to decide what effort he has to pull and decide when to pull out. The moment that he pulls out, Ni takes over. Same, he will decide what pace he has to do because he's the only one person who would know how much effort he's trying to put out. As you can see, same posture. He holds onto the hoods, 90-degree elbow, stays stable. You can see his knee is almost hitting the inside of the elbow because the more compact you are, the more that you can use your core. It's always the same thing. 9 kilometers to go. We just finished the second to the last U-turn. Nikki's still ahead, and you have to expect that as soon as Nikki starts losing the energy, he would give the signal to Tom, and Tom, just like that, takes over. He doesn't have to make a signal. He doesn't have to make a audible command. The more that you ride together with your team, you can instantly read the body language. And Tom, if you noticed again when he took the pace, he did not surge because he knew that Z and Aris were behind. They could not break the draft. I had to insert myself in the line behind Aris immediately, or else I'm gonna get gap. So Tom's job right now is to keep the speed as fast as possible to prevent any attacks. Because, well, with 9 kilometers to go, you have to expect there will be attacks. As soon as Tom decides that he needs to rest, instantly, without any audible command, Z takes over. And you visually can really notice that the speed does not surge. The moment that Tom opens up, Z just has to continue the same exit speed of Tommy. So we call that exit speed. The moment that you finish your pull, your teammate behind you cannot surge. He just has to continue exactly the speed when you exited. That guarantees that it will not kill you when you get to the back. Just like that, Aris takes over, no surge in speed. I stay behind Aris, no surge in speed. I just gotta make sure that I'm very relaxed, stay as close as possible to Aris's wheel to take advantage of the draft. So the boys, because it's 9 kilometers to go, their instruction is to go all the way back. That's why you don't see them anymore, because they have to take a rest now. Because we are now approaching the final U-turn. And you can see the boys behind me, the junior developmental team. I think they're planning some attack because they know we're approaching the final U-turn. Going to the final U-turn, we are 3 kilometers away. And, well, here it is. We have to expect some attack sometime soon. It's very predictable, but that's just how it is. And Carl here, junior development for 7-Eleven, now riding for El Capitan. Well, obviously, he's a superstar, a fabulous sprinter. I can already guess that he's a good climber just by looking at his physique. And for us, me, Nikki, Tom, Z, we just have to hang on and just try to survive this last few kilometers. And for us to survive it is we have to make sure that we are all close together. Slowly, one by one, as the juniors finish their pull, the speed, the outrageous speed will really spit you out the moment that you lose traction. And, well, Carl decided to just up the speed as we start approaching the U-turn, but that's his job. He has to make sure that the speed stays fast to avoid bunching up. And one last hurrah, big salute to this guy over here from Batang Daileg. This is key to teamwork. You have to sacrifice. I had to take some breath because it may not seem like it, but we were blowing up. I mean, I'm not sure what the wattage was, but they were constantly at 50 kilometers per hour, 52 kilometers per hour. It's hard, but you just have to maintain your composure. And they just make it look easy. They just make it look so easy. And on cue, the moment that Carl feels some hesitation in front, he takes charge, makes sure that his boys are doing the right job. So he puts a little bit of acceleration, and that acceleration is brutal. To have an acceleration like that, he was going 55 kilometers per hour. He just smoked us. Like literally, just smoked us. And since he's from El Capitan, it's now the job of Batang Daileg to close that gap. So Batang Daileg are a group of kids also, but they have to work together to close that gap. Or else, Carl is just gonna walk away with the win. As soon as Batang Daileg closes the gap, well, you don't see us anymore because we're just trying to hang on and survive. Carl just keeps on going just like a locomotive. And as soon as Carl senses that we're approaching the U-turn, he asks one of his veteran teammate to lead the gap. Well, he was so fast, he gapped the Batang Daileg boys. CRZ, well, we just have to keep quiet because there's really nothing we can do at this moment because we're now approaching the final U-turn. Just had to survive and make sure that we have enough of our boys to stay in contention and fight for the sprint. There was a little bit of a gap, my fault, but yeah, I just had to close the gap as much as possible. Again, when closing the gap, do not sprint if your intention is to bring the whole team. Yeah, we were going close to 55, 60, but at those speed, you cannot panic. Z, same. He has to go as low as possible just to get the draft. And, well, we were lucky we were able to close the gap to Carl. That would have been a disaster. So we saved it. Bell ring. And so happy, Aris apparently was also able to go with us. Nikki would be behind him and Tom. So, status quo, done. Final U-turn. Here we go. From the final U-turn, you would see an instantaneous change in demeanor. Since going to the finish line is a strong headwind, super strong headwind, everyone started to hesitate. Well, we backed off the speed from 50 kilometers per hour. They backed it off at 40, 45 kilometers per hour. So it allowed us some breathing room. So Tommy was there, still surviving with Z and Nikki. My job is to make sure that I bring my team together by staying as close as possible to Carl. There should not be any gap as soon as these boys go out. And Batang Daileg was still holding on to the pace. I think they've decided to work with El Capitan, the junior development team of Carl. So I guess they've decided to work together. So the two Batang Daileg guys are sacrificing themselves for the more senior riders. Carl is the sprinter. Bartolome, I forgot his first name, is the lead out guy of Carl. And Vernon, just like so in the past episode, Vernon will be their third lead out. So there's always a script whenever you do a lead out. You cannot just go all out. So Vernon, his job is to set up the sprint, go as fast as possible as a platform for Bartolome to kick out and bring Carl to the finish line. Carl, just like a seasoned professional, he's checking out his rear wheel, making sure that nobody's gonna give him a surprise jump. I'm not gonna give him a surprise jump. I'm just trying to survive. But I had to create some decoys, so I had to tell Nikki to destroy their pace line. And just like so, Nikki destroys the pace line, and it worked. Vernon blew up, and Bartolome had to start his sprint earlier than usual, followed by Carl. I had to survive. I just had to survive. And, well, the rest was history. Bartolome was really, really going hard. But Carl is a fabulous sprinter. I knew he was the guy to be with, so I just had to close the gap. He swung to the left. I didn't have enough space because my bad. My wheel was overlapping him. So we had to, well, we just had to do what we had to do. That delay cost me an inch, and he was just going bazooka. 61 kilometers per hour. There was a 0.5 kilometer per hour difference, but with the pedigree of Carl, there's no way I could have closed that. No way. Deserving winner. Congratulations, Carl. Very good job.
Can you lock this? Pag nakita yung sign na yung sprint na tayo.
So next week, before we start, one line of cocaine. Never mind that. Never mind the
Tommy, that's a secret. Now, coach is recording.
Someone gave it to me when I was there also. Yeah, that stuff is cool. No. That's the one she gave me last week.
Okay, so we're negotiating about the Clark tourism ride. So if you guys are available, you can register here. Clark is promoting cycling tourism. Here it is. Clark tourism ride. So it's going to be on the 30th of September. Just in case you're available. So,
1, 2, 3.
okay, very nice. Ayan.